Okay. So what all things we have look at as an BA, I collect the vision mission and try to get these from a couple of places, meetings, brainstorming, interviews, surveys. Then all, out of this, what I try to collect the actual requirements to my documentation is basically from the minutes of meeting, from the discussions, from the questionnaires I got from the brainstorming session. I try to build the minutes of it also, and I get these requirement into my even from BRD if clients at all given you in BRD as a document, and then sorry, I collect. I don't know what I've clicked. Okay, so I've tried to collect all these requirements
Excuse me, sir.
into.
It's working. It's working.
Oh, great! Thanks, God. Thanks a lot. So I
Yeah.
can share like this. Whenever we have this recording by your morning time, I'll share
Mm-hmm.
this link so that you can download and have a look at it again, just to revise whatever we've discussed, right? And
Okay. Sure.
here we started the session with actually understanding of the BA role, right? From each and
Mm-hmm.
every participant. That's what we discussed in the last. So that's really good reference. Please,
Mm-hmm.
have a look at that. And but this is again unedited version, so it's not approved by the organizational guys. So this is a kind of backdoor sharing kind of stuff. Okay, so please bear
Okay.
with me on that.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so we collect everything in something called SRS. We normally use organizational template because there should be an uniformity in whenever we collecting requirement. There should be an uniformity whenever we try to present our work in terms of whatever vision I have understood, whatever I was closely working with business people, because I normally as an BA work closely with very dignitaries, very senior people within our organizational hierarchy. So I try to collect these things, try to interpret them in the simplest possible term, non-technical terms, try to collect in a document called system requirement specification, which is owned by BA, right? So I collect these things, and there are some other ways and means to basically transfer these collections, transfers this requirement, transfers this vision of a client to my technical team, so that they can work on it for construction, development of a product, solution or services, whatever it required, whatever is intended by client. It's my responsibility as an BA to get it approved from a client, to get it approved for the organizational template, organizational normally discipline, how we normally present the collection of vision. And that's what the template of SRS comes from. So we have a organizational policies and procedures, which we normally labeled it as an quality management service. We'll have a look at quality management service in our quality assurance and quality control phase of our training or discussion session, and we'll understand what is QMS, how QMS getting evolved and all those things. But right now QMS is disciplined processes whatever I have to follow whenever I join my organization, right? They'll train me on that. Means whenever I join as an BA to a good company like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, or whatever it may be, there I need to understand what you can say QMS, quality management services, right? So this QMS gives me a template for system SRS. So SRS, I have as we seen a standard SRS template. There could be variation in terms of nomenclature, in terms of naming each and every chapter. There could be differences in sequencing, so we need to work on that. And please don't worry, I'll be there to guide you on that as well, right? Or there could be some certain persons whom you can refer to in normal organizations, and you can go to such persons whenever you try to interpreting such QMS procedures, right? So I collect these templates, I try to include whatever I've understood, whatever I devised, whatever I elicited in terms of elicitation is the right word as far as BA uses normally. So we need to learn this elicitation word, right? Try to have a look at its dictionary meaning and all those things. But elicitation is a process by which we understand the vision and convert it to a requirement, and then extend it, evolve it, explain it for a development team from the with a technical team, frankly speaking. So within my organizations, I am the only person who collects these requirements. So I am the outgoing role and trying to collect this requirement for all my organizational policies and procedures, so that I'll understand whatever my development team needs. If they have any questions, I'll be a kind of mediator or a coordinator for all such things, right? And that's how the BA's role make it more and more critical day by day, right? So I author a document called System Requirement Specification. And as in standard business practices, we do create something like use case diagram. Use case diagram are normally used for enhancing, explaining each and every requirement, whatever collected, try to put it in a much explanatory on a detailed way, so that all the complexity has been addressed, and the knowledge or the whatever details I have collected from the vision, client, stakeholder, I'll explain it to the development team. So it's a scientific tool. We call it, it's normally labeled as use case diagram. It's also a part of bigger diagramming set, which is called Unified Modeling Language, UML. Okay. So use case diagram is normally a tool, a scientific tool, a well-evolved tool, which we use to collect the requirement and explain it in a singular fashion, right? Then I go a next step further. So have you understood what you mean by, how we could explain use case diagram? Any confusion there?
I'm good.
Is everybody awake?
Yes, sir. We are good.
Pardon me for asking that, but yes.
No, I'm good.
We need to, whenever we talk, because I have seen a couple of interviews, and the interviewing process have been started overall. So we need to work on these scenario, and I'll basically start preparing in that direction right away, so that we can understand and we will get ready as early as possible. That's my intention. So I also basically given you a hint of how this interviewing process is working right now with other candidates, and how we can prepare ourselves, early, proactively, right? And that's how I'm trying to share this information with you. So what we are trying to say, what BA does, what are the documentation, what are the templates BA normally use, right? And what are the different artifacts, we label it as an artifacts we create day in day out, okay, as an BA. So first I create SRS, I own it, I author it, and the inclusions in the SRS is first primarily use case diagram. This is a tool, this is a scientific well-evolved tool which I use to collect the requirement and explain it in a singular way. So I explain one requirement in use case diagram. There could be multiple alternative paths within that requirement, which I mentioned, with inclusion, exclusion, and then I try to depict this use case diagram with actors, primary actor, secondary actor, and various functionality they initiate, they support, they work on within that diagram. This is what we call use case diagram. We had a good look at that lady explaining us the use case diagram through something called Lucid chart, but I can very well do it with a pen and paper also. So we've done it with pen and paper, and I think some of us we try to do it with Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, presentation, Microsoft PowerPoint, and so on and so forth. So we've had a look at the basic intention, the basic tool sets, how we could draw this diagram, how we could present it beautifully. Does that make sense? Are you in line with what I'm trying to explain here?
Yes.
Great, no problem. If you have any question, please do stop me and ask. Okay, so we've looked at use case diagram. Now the next step is, there are certain things which we do in terms of research, in terms of we go on Google, we'll try to find the best suitable techniques to devise this solution to a level where we can understand pardon me, where we can depict these solutions in a better format, in a better way to the stakeholders. To the okay, stakeholder means, as I explained you, stakeholder is a party which is anyway interested in a given solution, in a given business problems, and they are facing this problem. That's how they are interested. We are providing a solution. So that's why, as an Infosys, TCS, Wipro, as a technology partner, we are also kind of stakeholder for a given solution, right? Okay, now this all things is included in SRS. On top of use case diagram, we have something called high level diagrams. We'll have a look at them. We have to study those things. There are something called Excel sheet which we need to include there wherever we want to present some correct option, why we have gone and accepted that options, if there is an R&D done for that, choosing that option, or whatever auditory fact I can support to make sure whatever option I have choose is in line with the thought process of the vision, the product, the project, or the solution or services which I have, me as an engagement partner given to my client to State Farm, something like that. So we'll try to create all these auditory fact, the data elements, and we do a presentation through Excel. So we have to have use case diagram, we have to have HLD, and we have to have Excel as a tool how we use it, right? Okay, and then we gone a step ahead and try to understand how this SRS is converted to the functional requirement specification FRS. This is not at all audited, not at all owned or authored by me. This is authored by the solution architects, system architect, and the designers, the solution designers of the world. Normally these are the very senior guys who normally will evolve this document and the requirement to the nth level, so that it will collect all the details required for a given product, solution, or services, so that all these nth level requirements are mentioned in the FRS, which is a kind of Bible, which is a kind of reference document for each and every product, solution, or services, right? So wherever you want to understand an FRS, wherever you want to understand a product, wherever you want to understand a solution, wherever you want to understand a service, you can refer to the document called FRS. And in the globe, all the IT company use this document as a FRS. That's a standard naming convention. Okay, so there could be FRD, means some might say FRD. So there are certain versions of nomenclature, but still on a generic level it's called FRS. So even if you go to something like NASA and try to understand the FRS of a specific satellite, yes, this document pertaining to a specific product, specific solution, and specific services, the NASA will have an FRS for a given satellite launch. It gets started whenever the SRS is in a first release and formatted completely, released completely. Then the designer, the architect, after the project kickoff or after the first few discussions, they start working on this FRS. Again, FRS is also a template which is there for the organizations you are working on. So if you are working with Infosys, Wipro, TCS, you'll get a FRS within the organizational QMS, so that can start working on that. So whenever me join a company as an BA, I am a kind of reviewer to this document. In some scenario, I am a kind of approver to this document also, just to make sure the FRS included all the requirements I gathered. So I need to understand the completeness of a solution. That's my responsibility. So I'm a kind of act normally as a reviewer, that's 100%, normally as an approver, 20 to 25%. So there are these organization policies and procedures, because all these organizations, their QMS, quality management services, has been evolved over time. So whatever is there in terms of guidelines, in terms of processes and policies to be followed, we need to understand that and we need to adhere to it. And they have some system called audit, right? So we'll have a look at this auditory procedure. It's called internal audit. So IQA, internal audit procedures. So we will understand these IQAs with our QA QC things, and we'll try to understand how QMS evolved, how we have to adhere to a QMS, what happens if we haven't adhered to those standard policies and procedures, and that's how we have to work as an BA, right? So we had a look at FRS also, which is a kind of Bible, which is a kind of reference material, can be converted to help manuals, can be converted to the training programming contents, and so on and so forth. So FRS is the most crucial document for a given product, project, solution, or services. So even if you're trying to build a support bench, like we discussed, right, a voice calling support bench or a technical support bench with level L1, L2, L3, that's how they labeled it. These details of each and every such voice support is also mentioned in the FRS. So if you are supporting something called, let's say, enhanced attendance management system for State Farm, so there will be a document called functional requirement specification for State Farm for enhanced attendance management system, so that whenever somebody at a higher level with the credibility wants to update, wants to have a look at anything in detail for this support bench, what I'll do, I'll try to go and try to refer to such FRS documents. That's a normal procedure throughout the industry. Am I clear, or am I going too fast? This I'm just revising, frankly speaking. Anybody have any confusion at this moment? Any difficulty?
I'm good.
So, sir, even in FRS, we have the business process model.
Yes,
In
ma'am.
this
Yes, ma'am.
is I think we even in the BRD we have this, right?
Right, right. But BRD, these can be bulleted points. In FRS, you need to have clear sequence diagram, activity diagrams, and other diagrams, which depicts each and every step. So this is a micro level document. Okay, huh? Okay, there's something called micro. Micro means bari, chota chota, right? And there is a macro. Macro is mota mota. So BRD, SRS are macro document, mota mota. FRS is a micro document. You heard of micromanagement, macro management?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a micromanagement, and those two BRD and SRS are macro management, मोटा मोटा, ठीक है. So normally a BRD or SRS 50-60 पेज के ऊपर नहीं जाता है. In a normal scenario, there could be various revisions. There could be first draft 30 pages, second draft can be another 30 pages or so. But normally वो इतना मोटा नहीं होता document. Again, if you are working with NASA, so even SRS can go up to 1,000 pages. It does happen. But FRS are normally in the range of 300 plus. Normally, even if you make something like an Android applications, they are normally in the range of 300 plus. A small application of, let's say, login and viewing balance, viewing my bank balance, even this FRS can easily go to 100-300 pages. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. So business process model is basically end-to-end process which is driving the business, right?
That's right, ma'am. Interest is not the business, which is supported by this said solution, product or services. So this is particularly for a given project, solution, product or services.
So,
Mhm.
no, in general, business process model is the end-to-end process which is driving our business, is it?
That's right, ma'am. That's right. Means each and every step, whatever there for a given business process. Let's say employee, attendance. That's a business process which we follow. So in State Farm, if I want to build a model for something like, wait a minute, for something like early morning or whenever, basically 24/7 business attendance model in State Farm. So how will I'll put employee enters the gate. The surveillance camera records his entrance. Then he put his finger or iris, depending on the solution you implemented, to the given scanner, so that his credentials have been verified. So if Ravindra Pandey enters State Farm and put his iris against the iris scanners at the gate, the iris scanner will tell him, okay, Ravindra Pandey, time 7:52 on 9th Jan 1921. This is how it depicts. Means there's a small LCD screen below the iris scanner. These things are displayed normally there, so that whoever was there have been recorded as an entered, or yes, first time you entered, right? So that's how it's got recorded in the system. And these iris scanners communicate to a thing or a computer called server, where in the database these entries have been entered. So Ravindra as in first name, Pandey as in last name, the time in nanoseconds, microseconds. So, I'll again, the database entity which got entered, these are mentioned in the FRS normally. So what all database entities have been entered into database? Ravindra, first name, Pandey, last name, the time in nanoseconds. So there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 counters, XX, 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 XX. First is for hours, second is for minutes, third is for second, and fourth is for nanoseconds. Because normally system can track, I can validate up to a nanosecond level. So these 6 elements will be put to the not the 6. Again, there are some more. Okay, first is first name, last name, hours, minutes, second, nanosecond, date as in such day, month, year, and day of the week. Because as far as system goes, attendance system goes, the attendance system has to calculate if Ravindra Pandey's normal regular hours, That'll do in background, but whatever details, I need to make sure they are relevant and they are collected on the basis of what all the system needs at a given time, right? So how many elements are we talking about here? First name 1, second name 2, time in 4. So there are 6, day, month, year, and day. So there are 10 elements. I'm entering into system or got entered by default, and this happens automatically in a nanosecond. So that's how the FRS can explain a process in depth at a micro level for each and every functionality it supports. Does that make sense, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody will ask you this as an BA, but if you can explain to this level, you are a senior BA by itself, because then you can understand the solution to the nth level. And this is how these IT guys normally micromanage the thing, control things, monitor things, or the document depth goes to that level, so that if you can understand if a satellite was planned to placed into its orbit, what all details they will have. Believe me, they'll have a details of each and every air thrust. In a satellite, after Earth's environment, it's a vacuum, right? So wherever the satellite has to be steered, satellite has to be driven to a particular location or put into particular orbit. That's what they call. There are small air shoots to shoot through that satellite, so that you can align the directions, right? Direction of that satellite which is floating in the vacuum. Am I talking too technical? Pardon me for that. So all such details must be included in the FRS. So normally a small satellite which has to be launched by, let's say, ISRO or NASA, all these small element up to nth level detail will be mentioned there. So what type of air we are trying to blast, how much will be the duration, what will be the thrust, the force, and blah 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 things. So that's how the FRS goes in depth. And we are, as an BA, we are the reviewers of these things, so you will understand on job. So please don't worry on this thing. But why I'm trying to share with you, because you'll be part of the whole product, solution, or services creation, from its inception, from its conceiving, from its understanding or initial discussions with these business dignitaries. That's why you have to understand the criticalness, you have to understand the crucialness of a job of a business analyst. Does that make sense? Anybody have any question for me? Yeah, please go ahead.
So I'm still not sure about this business process model. In this State Farm attendance management system, what would be the business process model? It would be like not just the attendance management system, but the whole business.
Ma'am, just hold on there. Business process model is included in BRD. So if you're not getting BRD, you'll not get business process model. And analysts are not BPMs. BPMs are business process managers. These are the specific guys who design, define, and modify these BPMs. So BPM is altogether a different, different skill set. And if you try to learn all these things,
no. I'm just trying to understand
I'm
the
sharing.
overview of.
Listen to me, ma'am. I'm trying to share you the criticalness. SRS don't have business process model. They might have a mention if you got a business process model. So you don't have to devise anything. You're not architect. You're not designer, right? And you're not BPM's expert. Believe me, BPM expert. There can be BAs who are BPM experts. There are BAs who are BPM experts. BM is a big area. Believe me, like system designing, system architecting, BPM is a big area. See, think it this way. What experience do you have, ma'am, if I may ask again?
Yeah, I have 8 years of experience in IT. I was a developer.
We have IT experience. So you know BPM, right? So if you have to explain a BPM for a given solution you worked on, how much time will it take? Just by guesswork.
BPM solution of
whatever solution you worked on earlier. You was a part of team, right? As an
I was a developer. Yeah, I was a developer.
So, ma'am, if I ask you, please explain business process model of any of your smallest solution. It will at least take 1 or 2 hours, believe me, because that's how the business process are normally, devised, architected in depth. We talked about a use case, right?
No, we should not. So, no, I'm just asking because I have mentioned this BPM in my resume. I should not mention this, right?
No. You can mention it. See, understanding BPM, how deep it goes, right? See, business analysts are artists. They are not, scientists. Okay. Now, whenever you say BPMs, right, and business analyst with BPM can be called as a data scientist. Believe me, because you're going a depth in terms of understanding or scientifically designing processes for a given solution or given organization. This is what the data science is all about, right? Okay, we have an introductory session, but tomorrow morning I'll share in a group. Basically, come there and try to understand what data scientists do, because as an BA, that could be next evolution for you. Means whenever you get let's say 5 or 6 years of experience, you can venture into data science. Data science is a scientific role. You can earn basically in 200k plus type of jobs. But yes, why they pay so much? Because you are scientist. You analyze these processes for a given domain, for a given solution path, like BPMs. BPM is a solution to be given. Let me tell you, the hotel, a customer coming to a hotel, right? If you want to devise this business process model, there could be at least 60 sequence diagram. There could be at least 60 activity diagram for a simple thing which you explain in a page. Because let me tell you, let me take an example for this. This is not a part of your training, but you should understand why we have that BPM thing and why we shouldn't remove it. Because some of the managers, some of the senior people, when they look for a BA, they might have to need to find a word called BPM. Why? Because you should have an introduction to this BPM. We've
Right,
discussed
right.
this.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I
So
was
I'm
trying to
trying to
understand
tell you the
because
depth of it now. We did this introduction. Now I'm trying to tell you the depth of it, because it's a need. Depth is not needed, but you should understand how rough is the water, right? So let's try to understand. For a given, I need to understand. I need to build a BPM for a customer entering into my restaurant, right? Simple thing. Now let's talk it from a BPM point of view. Now the BPM will have details like, if Ravindra Pandey has to enter into my restaurant, how are the steps? Is it really feeling attractive towards the building entrance? Is the guard is properly dressed? Should he salute or shouldn't he salute? What type of atmosphere should I create? Should I have the romantic music which is playing in my restaurant should be heard by by the door whenever the door opens? Should there be bells and whistles on the top of this guy? How high or how much should I do the expenses in terms of beautifying this entrance? Because entrance is the face of the hotel, right? At the end of the day. So BPM will go in a depth of trying to solve all these questions. How I can attract Ravindra Pandey as a customer to my hotel? It's a simple thing, right? What I'm talking about, I'm talking about the business process of a customer coming and having a tea. Let's stop it there. Now, all these BPM will go into depth of understanding each and every such small step as well. How much cost should I bear whenever I'm trying to attract a customer? Because there is a limitation, right? Every model, every business model have to have approved from the business people, the top people, and I need to really justify each and every penny, each and every dollar I spent on this. So should be there, two floodlights, one floodlight, should be there is a neon sign, welcome, right? Should be there something like Rangoli, means if you're Indian restaurant, you should have Rangoli and at least those stickers, right? Welcome, or we have those lotus sticker, or the no, not lotus, I believe some really intricate flower we normally put it on those doorsteps, right? So should we have those? Do you have to praise, or do I have to market my authenticity of a culture? That's also will be addressed by business process model. And I am just talking about the door entry now. So whenever the customer enters, should we have what do you call that guy, that reception standing with a welcome, I forgot, this is a special name of a person who normally
front desk.
welcomes you, pardon me.
Front desk.
Yeah. So he or she, how process, what process she or he will follow? Does she give a menu card at that time? Should he offer a drink, a welcome drink, or whatever it may? See, all these questions should be answered in BPMs. Okay. Could you understand how difficult it is to just try to build a process for a simple customer entering into a hotel, right?
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Means see how detail each and every of these things which are mentioned in the FRS. That's why BPM are normally copied from the BRD if client at all given a BRD, and these are just copied. You'll understand, and I am there to make you understand. Please don't worry. So for that, we need to go into that thinking model. It's a different thinking mode, right? So pardon me for taking up too much of your time, but I believe this discussion was a need because there could be an interview questions. Do you know BPM? Yes, sir, I've heard of BPM. This is business process model, and we do model the business processes. That's all. And if you ask an example, you can give an example of the hotel entry. You can give an example of whatever use case diagram you have prepared, and I'll guide you on basically trying to prepare a use case diagram for a given client, because each and every client will have a domain. So if the client is of a banking, then we'll show them that account, ATM, that use case of that ATM machine that lady draws, right? That Lucy Chatwala lady. I forgot her. I keep forgetting name. So we can explain in that use case diagram. If you're if you're going to some IT company, then it doesn't matter. You can still explaining use case diagram whichever you feel bad, and we need to work on one use case diagram and try to understand how it's get placed in the SRS. That's why we did that workshop, right? The normal thing for any IT company, you can explain them the enhancement of attendance management system, and we've tried to understand a generic model because we haven't gone in a depth of insurance service providers attendance management system. But I believe you have a fair idea in terms of attendance management system enhancement, right? Am I right in saying that?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
So Raviji, in short, can we say that business process manager is an evolved version of business analyst?
Yes, ma'am, very rightly. And that's why I said, even data scientists, I'm gone to a level where I've tried to explain you data scientists. Business analysts get migrated to data scientists. If you have the qualification, if you have an experience of a particular domain, like in your case, ma'am, you have a travel industry experience. And that experience is, matters like a gold in for any analysis, because from your experience level, if you try to explain a new travel solution to any guy, you can go in the depth till a data scientist can explain, because you have the experience, you have the thought process which is evolved over time because of your experience. Even I believe we have a Pallavi. Are you from banking background? Like Deepika ma'am is from banking, right? Am I right, Deepika ma'am?
Yes, I am from banking.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
sir.
as Deepika ma'am can explain the banking, even if she have 4 or 5 years of experience to a level, her explaining a banking process or a ATM process will be in much depth than me explaining, right? Or then even Rudra explaining, because we don't have that much experience in that area. She's working there for 5 years, so she know in and out of banking. So if a customer comes, how can I greet him? What should I say? How may I help you? Or what do you need? Or why you came to me? See, these all things which are normally planned in advance for a given business, because business is there, business is got set up to earn profits, to serve the clients, right? So we need to, each and every small micro details have to be addressed in FRS. For that, you need to know, you need to understand these FRS. So if I hire somebody like Lina ma'am to do my traveling solution, she also will author FRS, and she will work as a designer, solution designer. Now solution designer are not scientists, they are the domain experts. They know the domain in and out, they can understand all the small business processes. That's how the analysis get evolved into one step ahead, one step at a time. If I want to leverage Dipti ma'am knows the banking process, so she can go to a level. If she joins some banking solution, or if she should join even in Infosys, we have a banking BU, or they call it BFSI, banking financial insurance business unit. So all these business unit are aligned to give a solution to a particular business domain. So she can be a solution designer. So analyst plus solution designer, you are the most critical employee in a given organization. You normally dine with CTOs and CEO on daily basis. Believe me. Why? Because you are analyst. Whoever comes client to you, you will be the first person to be contracted, because if any banks, even a bank from a Timbuktu or UAE, a small bank comes to Infosys, the CIO will say, okay, analyst, let's go to UAE. Let's meet this guy, because, looks like very promising client, and, looks like at least, 10 million type of deal we can sign with this guy. So, brush up your skill, brush up your latest banking, domain expertise, and pack the bags. Let's go there, meet and greet him. Nowadays you don't have to pack the bags. He'll say, okay, let's get a call on with this guy, let's set up a Zoom meet, and so let's have a discussion and our discussion with this guy, because he's in a need of a banking solution. So something like that. Even whenever we are in a final stage of interview, I'll guide you. There are certain products, let's say for BFSI, Infosys has something called iFlex. You can go on Google and search for iFlex. Dipti ma'am, I'm guiding it for you specifically. iFlex is a software solution given by
And I have developed iFlex. I was
Okay,
in the
wow.
development team of iFlex.
Could you tell a simple business process in iFlex? Let's-
iFlex is basically not a product of Infosys. It's a product of iFlex Solutions. It's a FlexCube is the product, banking.
sorry, FlexCube ma'am. Sorry.
FlexCube, yeah. And iFlex is the
Outsider
company.
can't remember the name, and
iFlex is the company who developed the FlexCube, and iFlex is finally owned by Oracle. So it's now right now it's Oracle Financial Services Software Limited. And I was the part of that release, their 11.1 release,
Yes,
10 years back. Yeah,
yes, it's a flagship product.
it's a
So
flagship. It's the world's #1 banking product.
Right. Very rightly said, ma'am.
Yeah.
And could you please
And-
explain a simple, account opening process? Let's try to understand this BPM thing. This is a need for everybody. Please believe me. And we are not wasting time. We are trying to understand and prepare ourselves for these interviews. Because if you can explain such small thing to any bank BFSI guy, he will, he will.
As far as
never
I
ask
know,
any other
and
question.
as far as I know, Infosys has their own banking product called Pinnacle.
Oh yeah, Pinnacle. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Pinnacle. Right.
Yeah, that is one of the Indian competitors of FlexCube, because FlexCube in India, Pinnacle is more famous than FlexCube. FlexCube
Right,
has more international market.
Right. That's true. And this is what happens to, when you talk without preparation. I'm talking without preparation. Believe me, pardon me for those things. And, these nomenclature does matter a lot. So if you tell them, means if you, getting interviewed by somebody, and if you tell them about, FlexCube, if you tell them about Pinnacle, that guy will, he'll know, like, okay, this guy knows everything, because this is how the American interviewer works. If you tell them the word which they want to hear, the interview gets completed, and he'll ask you to, joining for tea or coffee or dinner, whatever. Means the next step will follow. Then there'll be an HR call. That's all. Means HR call. When can you join? How much salary? How much this and that? So your joining process starts then and there. If you can tell or throw these words to them, these are so critical, so important. So, ma'am, could you please explain any of these products? Account or new user registration process in a BPM sort of way. Could you please take max 5 minutes?
Actually, yeah, I'm seriously not sure about the BPM thing, but whatever you have explained as BPM is more about the look, feel, attraction, or including the micro things which are involved.
No, we haven't. I haven't gone on explaining the business process. I have just started explaining the business process.
Yes. So that's what I'm not sure about that, but what I can explain is,
Please.
whenever a customer wants to open an account, open a new relationship with a bank, he wants to
Right.
start a new relationship with the bank.
Again, let me give me a minute. Let's. The way she's trying to explain, when I say account opening, she's trying to explain what are the other ways of starting engagement with a bank. Could you understand how this business process go in depth? Means all. And please feel to ask Dipti ma'am, because she has so much knowledge of these simple processes. So we need to understand these processes, and this is what business analyst does, right? We understand these processes. So a simple guy building a banking account opening processes for a bank has so much knowledge in terms of data scientist, in terms of a senior business analyst. So we'll try to understand the depth, and this is just to everybody to make sure where we stand in terms of understanding and how in depth I can go, right? And that's why that's why I want you to be there in the evenings. Tomorrow morning's introductory session of Python data science. It's at I think 8:30 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. It will be hardly an hour session.
The Python
Data
is
science. That's
basically
a new
language,
training
right?
track we have started.
So
Come again, ma'am.
Python is definitely a different language, right? It's a Java based.
Yes, ma'am. No, see, data science is a new, partigram altogether, and there are various platforms available. But we are teaching Python because what we are trying to do, we are trying to build some data science. There are quite a few inquiries, I believe, so that they want to do data science. So Python is the simplest language which we can use to create all these tools. Now, to have these, process defined or created, we need to have certain platform, right? So Python is the platform which we are training them from. And Jayanti is my trainer partner there, and we are going to explain them how to create data science model and all. So let's try to understand from our discussions how the data scientists work in a scenario, because there will be a next career step if you want to evolve as a business analyst or go to a solution designer role. Okay,
So, sir,
please
you'll
go
be
ahead.
sharing that invite link, right? I would like to join that session, data scientist.
Sure, definitely, ma'am. That's what I'm telling you, and you should be there because you will get some good words for your interviews also. You don't have to explain it to your interviewer, but it's a kind of good start point to understand the next step, understand my personal next step goal, right? That's how I would look at it.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so whenever a customer wants to start a new relation or a new engagement with the bank, then first of all, I need to have a form. I mean, there can be various ways of establishing a relationship. One can be through online, or another can be, when a person walks into the bank, into the office, and then they have to fill up a form. That form will have all the basic details of that particular customer, including the age and all, like he's eligible. I mean, what is the age? He should be 18 plus and all. There are certain age criteria which he needs to follow, and after that they'll be right now, if I mean a bank asks them to have an online user ID and password. I mean, online, it's like online banking details. Bank will give all the details to them, and then he can go ahead and then start with the current account, savings account, whatever he wants, or any other. He wants to take a loan, or whatever engagement he wants to start, he can go ahead with that. And
Great, great.
then they have the KYC, like know your customer kind of thing. I mean, they have different nomenclature and different processes in the banking and finance industry. So they'll follow all those things.
Yes. Wow. Thanks, ma'am. Now, I think she just opened the windows of thought processes. Could you feel that? Now, let's imagine Ravindra Pandey walking into Bank of America. Now, how Bank of America perceives Ravindra Pandey? Bank of America wants all the details of Ravindra Pandey, including age, marriage, dependent, the last dollar he spent, the last dollar he earned, the first dollar he spent, first dollar he earned, how much saving he is making currently. Is it a good customer for me? Is it qualify current account? Is he qualify for saving account, or he's just a minor customer? Banking have various of such processes get categorized with your KYC. Now KYC, right? I think in US also we call it KIC. So KYC is know your customer. So you collect all this information about a single client walking into your doors. Now this is a business process, and based on that thing, bank will offer services. It's not like that, the services offered to Ravindra Pandey is same as services offered to JRD. JRD is JRD Tata. There are separate ways of offerings. There are separate way of understanding and serving a customer. So if JRD walks in, they'll offer him a coffee. If Ravindra Pandey walks in, there could be a guy giving him couple of forms. Sab ye bharo pehle, baad mein baat karenge apan. This is how the bank reacts. I'm not trying to, diminish any bank. I'm not trying to, basically analyze anybody's character or anybody's, status level. I'm trying to share with you a business process, how business process get, developed, how business process, start conceiving each and every new entity which is coming in your solution. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Pardon
sir.
me? Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'll stop. I'll control myself here. Is anybody have any questions?
No, thanks.
Okay, so this is how in depth we can go on a given level, and this is how an analyst normally reacts or responds to a given scenario. Luckily, we are not what you can say expected to work on FRS, but I'm just trying to share the next step. I'm just trying to share each and every these small things goes up to a mile level tip. Believe me, means be it a context diagram, solution boundaries. We just draw a rectangle in our use case diagram. That solution boundaries can be explained into a really clear depth level assumptions, clear depth level. These are included functionality, excluded functionality, can be done, can't be done. This has to be taken in the second phase, third phase, next iteration, so on and so forth. So there are categorization to the nth level mentioned in the FRS, which are not at all considered in the SRS. SRS is macro document. FRS is an micro document, right? And then we just draw one diagram called HLD, high level diagram, or you might add another diagram if the organizational process is required, something like initial sequence diagram and all, but or a mind map, or SWOT analysis, or fishbone diagram. But it's not best practice or repeated services amongst even in IT industry. So we'll just have a look at them from a bird's eye point of view. Okay, but we need to study, we need to understand flow chart, we need to understand activity diagram, we need to understand use case diagram, we need to understand HLDs, we need to understand SRS, and we need to understand Excel. If you know these 4-5 things, you are well prepared to start working as a BA, right? And we normally thinking is our main tool, and interpreting this thinking into technicality is that what we do. Technicality on a superficial level again, right? So we build conceptual model, will be there could be various models devised from these conceptual model, like logical models, low level diagrams, the stakeholder maps. And that's how FRS is really an evolved document, an evolved reference material for many of product, solution, or services, so that they can be explained in depth for each and every stakeholders, right? Okay, now let's go ahead and let's try to understand. Okay, we've seen about even FRS includes something like, okay, where's that? Installation setup. We had a look at this, right, last time, but I'll re-explain. Please don't worry. So installation, if my product is going to get shipped to a given market, how it will be installed. If my product is something like a vacuum cleaner, I need to train the user. What are these 6-7 buttons, how they are used, what they are used for. Even after giving this manual, I'll explain them each and every functionality whenever customer purchases vacuum cleaner, whenever customer purchases new TV, new set-top box, or something like that. Nowadays we all know how to use set-top box and all, so we don't have to go and explaining to it to end users. But yes, we normally train those technical implementation guys who install set-top box in your house, and they'll make sure the how the remote works, and blah 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 things. So there are these installation setup requirement summary which are mentioned in the FRS, which can be exported to something called instruction manuals, help manuals, and so on so forth. In some scenario, there could be an installation requirement summary. So if I've installed something like, let's say, a washer, right? In in US we have these big washers installed in a house. If you have in the basement, right? So how to install and how to remove the washer in case of if I need to take it to the repairs, if I need to replace it with the new washers, and so on and so forth, because there are n number of wires and pipes going in and coming out of these washers. So there is a technical support required to install and uninstall such scenario, such instrument. So these all things also included in the FRS. Then supportability summary. Supportability summary is like if Ravindra Pandey calls to support for this washing system, how will be handled? So what number he should call to? What type of person should greet him? And those type of business processes are mentioned in the supportability summary. Then legal requirement. What are the regions and areas I have license to sell this product? What are the regions, and how, if I go to something like Timbuktu, how should I apply for such product selling license in that area? Those things are mentioned in the legal requirement summary, and this is fair for product solution or support services as well. So nowadays all the support services are global, but still if you want to expand your support services from North America to Spain, right, you need to apply to the government saying, hey government, hey Spanish government, I want to expand my support summary, I want to expand my support to your citizens also. And these are the things which we normally talk. So there could be some words in some culture which are you shouldn't use, and those scenarios. So Spain government will give you certain documents saying these are the guidelines you to follow in terms of whenever you start such services in my country. And this is how the overall contract happens across the borders. Even in US also there are different states with different regulation for different voice supports, because every state is a lawmaker in US. Every state was a country, and then that's why it's called United States, right? So that's how the legal requirements are tapered. So whenever you do FRS, you need to understand these even regional challenges as well. Then of course risk register, right? Risk summary. We have to have a detail. This can be a separate document, but normally it is attached to FRS as an appendix. Even the legal requirement can be a separate document, but it's normally mentioned in the FRS as an appendix, right? Appendix is a attached document externally. So risk summary is a kind of table where I mention the risk, I list down the risk and the occurrence and the criteria when it occurs, how I can, am I prepared to avoid such risk or address such risk in what scenario, and how it can affect me in the worst, in the best, and those kind of scenarios are mentioned there. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions for me?
No, sir, I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, great, no problem. Okay, and luckily, one of the trainers shared me how to share that recording, right? I'm just repeating what I said earlier so that I can record this, I can share this recording with you within couple of hours, because the Zoom server takes some time to encode, decode, or I don't know what all it does. Then you can just download. So by your morning, you'll have this, training shared with you within the same group. There'll be a credential. And this is a non-edited video which will be there. So please don't share it with anybody, because it's bound by copyright. It's basically there for us as an close group, right? So those kind of scenario, please bear that in mind. Now, document traceability, we had a look at these things. Like we normally have each and every document have something called a revision sheet, and there we have revision history and the document approval, reviews, and all those names, right? I've included a small version of a table, but we have seen that sheet, right? Do you want me? I'll show it again for you, just to have a good review on that. What I can say, we can have again in-depth review on these templates, because this is an important thing, right? And this we're going to follow. And nowadays each and every organizations have their own way of what I can say, having this thing done. Let me, okay. Could you have you seen this thing earlier? Could you recall?
Yeah, yes, we
Yes.
do.
So anybody want to explain me what are the change records?
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. So change record, basically it is one of that the traceability matrix which we
Wow.
maintain, where we mention the date, I
Hmm.
mean the date when we have changed this particular document, who's the
Right.
author who has changed it, and the version number,
Mm-hmm.
what is the current version number, and the change
Mm-hmm.
reference, like change from
Perfect.
version 1.2.3.1 to
Mhm.
1.2.3.2, and then
And the reason.
what all things we have changed, we have to
Perfect.
mention
Perfect.
everything.
Wow.
So
You're ready in terms of, and the way you mentioned RTM, that's all what the interview wants to hear. So if you can say these things, he will not ask you the next question. Believe me. Anybody wants to, explain the reviewer table? Anybody?
no, I mean, she has said it all. I think she was very complete, but I just have one question.
Please go ahead,
Because,
ma'am.
when on a project, a lot of teams work on it, right? The
Right.
designing team and the testers work on it, the coders and the programmers. And
Right, ma'am.
so is the business person, and the client is not involved, of course. But then how do they all stay on the same page?
Um,
Wow, a good
I'm
question.
not sure about this, but can I try to answer this
Yeah,
question?
please, ma'am. And that's really great initiative. Please,
Because
please.
they all have to be aligned, right, on all the changes.
No, Lina ji, what I think is, the developers and all, they don't have the author, they don't have the edit
Perfect.
rights to this document.
No, I'm not talking about this document. I'm talking about some change, because I guess the whole purpose of RTM is to, be it pretty much
Testability.
covers the whole system, and everybody has to be aligned on the same line. Every
Right,
change
ma'am.
is that is not who is making the change, but when it is made. So, I mean, that is what it is. I think the purpose is, if I'm not wrong, if I understood it right, the purpose is to be uniformed,
Yes, ma'am.
right? And that is what my confusion is. How do they? It's
Okay,
really a lot.
let me speak. Yes, let me speak. I believe she's trying to address the process in general rather than an RTM, right? Let me tell you, each and every document have an authority in terms of, because we work on a cloud, right? So whenever you log into a cloud, let's say I log in as an Lina Bhatt, and then whatever password, which is normally a really cryptic password, we key in into cloud system, I'll see servers files which I can read, write, modify, delete. There are these 4 different authorizations or authentications which are allocated me by the quality management processes or by the administrator. Let's talk in terms of roles. So whatever I can do, if I can read, I can't change. If I have a modification authority, then only I can modify. And to a given scenario, when I say you own the SRS, so only and only BA normally owns the document. So if I want to add anything, I'll put it in a comment. If I'm a reviewer,
Okay.
I can't add a document. I'll put it in a comment, and then you will make sure if the comment is really valid, then only it's get included, otherwise not. And whenever I include a small comments, please turn this thing to red. Every cloud user who is the authority to read will get a message in his mailbox, in his SMS, or whatever the quality management services way of intimating users, or he'll get a small WhatsApp as well. Nowadays WhatsApp is also included, so he'll get a WhatsApp saying hey Ravindra, Lina ma'am have added these things, and she's will review this thing shortly. Within you have around let's say normally they give you 2 business day, but this can change depending on organizational policy. So that please give Lina madam 2 days business time, and he will approve, reject, or modify the comment you passed. This is how it works. And if when you say accepted, even I'll get a message saying hey Ravindra, Lina ma'am accepted your thing. Or if you rejected, you have to mention a reason there saying okay Ravindra, I think this is foolish, please don't try this again. This is also thing. So this also go to me and comes to me saying hey Ravindra, Lina ma'am thinks that's a foolish thing to do. Simple. This happens, and this is how the communication gets spread across within the team. This is within the team, and even this communication track can be viewed by the administrator as a logbook, as a text file, and the admin can share this thing with all the senior parties, CEOs, CTOs of the world. Even if the clients want, he can have the access to the cloud, and that's how we spread these things. That's how this revision street is strictly followed for a given entity, be it a document, be it a code base, be it a diagram. Does that make does that answer your question, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I know, I can understand now. I have really thanks to you, because you're thinking it through. Why the bloody RTM? इतना प्रॉब्लम क्यों करने का यार, मैं लिख के दे देता
The
है.
thing is like, what is the point of it? You know, that was it.
Exactly.
Why is it done? Then I figured out it's just for the uniformity and to,
Exactly, ma'am.
so that everybody is on the same line.
Same page. And that communication, that message which I send to every member, if he or she ignores it, that's his problem. But normally, if Ravindra gets a message saying, hey, your comment is rejected, so I have to see it, right? And then I might call you. So, hey, Leela ma'am, why do you think? So, Leela ma'am can explain ki, Ravindra, this really not in line with the thought process of a business, or this is really trivial at this time. You can, talk to architect if you want to really insist on, taking that red color or pink color, whatever you like. So, even that system architect and designer can entertain you. But at BA, I don't think I should go into that depth and, mention this coloring schema here. This is a normal thing, and this is how it happens. Right? And this is what we need to understand, why the RTM, how the RTM is getting addressed in day by day. This is how the IT guys work. Deepti ma'am might have, checked in code, because each and every code checking in also have a revision. It happens in the background. So Deepti ma'am, when she types a code, she, construct a program, and when she say commit, there's a button called commit or submit, it goes to a server, and server thinks,
If it is under review, I could say under review.
No, it'll go a message to reviewer as well. Na? That's what, Deepti ma'am, do you want to explain how the process was there for code checking?
Yes, sir. We actually create a new branch.
Exactly.
We just download the latest version of code in our machine, make the changes, whatever done, create a new branch, and then upload it again for the reviewing and sign off.
And that software is called source control. It's the same revision sheet, but labeled differently because you are trying to address a separate entity, right?
We have
So
different tools like, SVN, Git.
Right,
various
SVN,
repositories.
CVS, Jira. Now we use Jira because we work on a cloud. So Jira is a tool which we normally use for code
Jira
construction.
is a Scrum tool, right? It's a Scrum Master.
No, Jira have many.
Even for code checking, do we use Jira these days?
Yeah, Jira has even Git. We have you can club Git with the. Oh, sorry, I'm started going technical. You can club Git with Jira as well. Jira has a source control now.
Oh, okay.
Jira is really evolved over time. Means you should have sometimes if you get time, have a look at Jira's.
I have worked on Jira and Rally, but it was almost 5 years back. So
I know. Now that Altestation company, which created Jira, these are the scientists. They've started some search engine called Alta Vista. That was the most technical search engine anybody have used on the internet. And it was much, much, much famous in terms of amongst the engineers group in those good old days. It's called Alta Vista. You can, there's a good wiki page on that also. You can have a look at that wiki page, Alta Vista. If I can pronounce it correctly, Alta and Vista, one word. This search engine was specifically for technical guys. So if you want to search for an abstract, you can go on Alta Vista. You don't go on, in those days, we used to have Yahoo. You used to have something called Grep, and we used to have some, Grape is, sorry, I don't want to go to technical. Yeah, but that was the most famous search engine at that time. Okay, anybody have any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so if you can use something like requirement traceability matrix during your interview, please do that. If you can, put some words like business process modeling, please do that in the interview, so that the interviewer will think, okay, you're a good person, you have learned these things, you can explain these things, right? But yes,
sir, I'm still not sure about the definition of business process model.
No, we don't have to go to a definition. Even RTM definition is not required. Only you should understand the idea. Because these definitions are quite, technical.
And it's a 2-line explanation, because I still, whatever I'm seeing is
process modeling. We do model each and every business process. How do you feel about this definition?
What is that?
Business process modeling is a process where we model each and every business process. You can give an example like a customer coming to a hotel. Or like you said, a customer coming to a bank, and you can build on that. So when the customer comes to bank, what all things he need to do? he need to fill out those 10-15 form, tell bank about his name, address, income, outcome, whatever, the bank wants, right? So this is what we call KYC. This is a business process you have started explaining of a customer visiting a bank, those kind of scenario. So business process model is BPM, is a methods by which we define or we design new business processes, or we document the business processes, we model the business processes within FRS or BRDs, if at all BRD we use, or you can mention these document name business BRDs or SRS. We mention this business process modeling with the BPM tools. There are various tools of BPMs as well.
Okay, sir. Yeah. And sir,
There'll be more than enough, right? I have spoken at least 5-6 sentences.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And these are simple ones. See, these are like black holes. If you start going in, then you'll forget the other things, right? Because we need to address at least these 5-6 entities in depth. In terms of fair depth, means be it use case diagram. So if you concentrate just on a BPM, then you are really kind of narrowing yourself. Please don't do that. We need to address even we need to explain the domain also. So domain learning is also a last step in an interview, so that if I'm going to get interviewed by a bank, and to understand its processes, its website, its color coding schema, and all those things also. But yes, I am there, please don't worry. So we need to learn in terms of explain it in a couple of sentences. That's fair expectation, and that's what I told you. Even RTM, what is RTM? Could you please tell me? Requirement traceability matrix. Could you explain in 3 sentences, simple sentences, non-technical sentences? Could anyone do that?
Yeah.
The last time Rudra explained it very well. Yes, please go ahead, ma'am.
We can try. I think
Yes, ma'am. We have to try. We are learning, right, ma'am? Please go ahead.
It is, I think, a requirement traceable matrix is actually a document where people from all the team, mostly the business analyst, they put their suggestions or solutions or recommendation, and people from different team they just take it and develop it or mapping it to their own task.
Okay. No.
Fact sheet kind of, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Now you're coming. Now you're explaining right words. Yes,
it's a fact sheet where,
it's a fact sheet where we normally include the traceability.
You can, from the right from conception till the sign off.
Exactly. So we normally try to collect all facts and figures to maintain the traceability of modifying the document, creating the document, or tracing the document to its origin and the modification part of it. Does that make sense, ma'am? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. One more thing. I was going through one of your YouTube videos, and they were saying that SRS is basically followed in waterfall model. In Agile, we don't have a document called SRS. Is it like that?
No, ma'am. Okay. Okay. There are certain, what you can say. See, all these videos, they have their own way of explaining, right? And, let's think it as a live trainer and a passive trainer. So I'm the active and live trainer. So please do believe me when I say SRS, it can be labeled in a bit differently. And even I believe, Richa ma'am also explained you how, artifacts, the documentary artifacts are necessary in Agile also, right?
Yeah.
So SRS is, sorry, go ahead, please.
No, I just thought that, in Agile, we have some different terminology instead of SRS. I mean,
again, I'll tell you, the terminology depends on the organization you join, and they might call it, SRS some different name. It can happen, but normally it's an SRS, and it's an auditory fact in Agile Scrum as well. SRS and FRS are the documents who are normally labeled so, and these are the artifacts carried throughout the projects. Believe me, even each and every iteration. Could you recall that backlog thing? Backlogs are also mentioned in the RTMs. Backlogs are the basically priority listing, right? Whichever we take it as a next development functionality in the next sprint, right? Can I use these words? I believe we all know these, right? Sprint is an iteration which I'm executing currently. So there's a current sprint, previous sprint, and next sprint. Sprint is a duration in the iterative. In the iterative development model. I normally plan 1 week to max 2 weeks length, where I construct this thing in iteratively for my client. So backlog is an document, is a part of RTM, which is meant, it's a queue basically, which is created to address all the functionality which I'll create in my next sprint, which are not created in my last sprint. So it's applicable for the next sprint, and I'll revise the backlog in my daily scrum, saying okay, now today please have these 6 functionality to be constructed, 6 functionality to be developed, so that we can club it in our next release. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
Yeah, I agree with Dipti, because I don't remember which video, but they had mentioned it. They even mentioned it, one of the video, that SRS is like a old thing now. Not every organization follows SRS. So I don't know. I think she watched the same video which I watched. It was a long video.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They
it
did
was a
mention.
2-hour video. I just
Yes,
I
yeah,
just
and they
watched
did
first 30
mention the
minutes.
same thing, right? I was just thinking,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
I
I
just
was
watched the
Then-
30 minutes
then-
of that video and I was just confused. So I
Yeah,
No,
right, you're
I
right.
can-
That's why I didn't finish that video, because I said, we're working on SRS and this guy is talking about SRS
it
is
happens, ma'am.
out of
It
date.
happens. Yeah, and everybody has a right to put in its these things. But please trust me when I say SRS is a kind of necessity. There are okay, there are some organizations, there are some quality management people. The way they build quality management people, they normally go with zero paper policy. Right? So how this policy started, they want to have something like paperless office. So everything should be digital. So they rename the whole auditory facts in a way they feel right. So there are some QMS in the world which are not at all what I can say best practices, but they have, they say we don't have SRS. So what they call, okay, let's say requirement list, or for that matter, backlog. So backlog is in kind of Excel sheet, which you can, feel it's a part of FRS, is basically mentioned or is basically created on fly. But that's all ad hoc things then, because, you don't have everything concentrated on a, single document, or, listed in a single document. Like these are the practices which are really evolved over time. So you have SRS, FRS, the test case run, test case documentation, and for each and every iteration we might release SRS also. It's normally happens. Okay, so when somebody say SRS is a not required in Agile, please try to understand they are referring to some other document which they call it SRS. But if you really think the overall philosophically, you have to have these documents, right? There should be document where you collect requirement. You want to call it Timbuktu's ABC, yeah, fair with me, but you need to have these many things in that, so that this is how the industry has been evolved. Could you understand me what I'm trying to say here?
yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
So whenever I need to
The
have a car,
foundation of BA, the BA,
exactly.
whatever
When
whatever
I
we are
think
trying to
about the
do.
car, there has to have 4 wheels. I can have a car with 2 wheels, right? Otherwise, it's a 2 bike.
Right.
These are the normal thought processes. So when you have to have a car, and if somebody decides, I don't want to call him a car, it's a Tesla. So okay, it's a Tesla. Even Tesla said this word, right? No, it's not car. It's a degradation. Call it Tesla. Okay, we call it Tesla. So Tesla is a kind of way of representing an electric car in quite a few countries now. So this is how it happens. I don't know, call it a car. Okay, it's not a car. Okay, it's not a car. It's a Tesla. So this is how it happens. So it's not an SRS. Okay, sir, it's not an SRS because I'm going to join your organization. So if you say it's not an SRS, boss is always right. Yes, it's not an SRS. So what do you call it? I call it product backlog. No. Okay, I call it requirement listing. Okay, I can't call it final requirement listing created on Friday. Happens. This happens. Some of the QMS might have some certain variation, so we need to adopt to them. But there's no, right way to explain this then, because if I start training like this, people will run away. Ki boss, this guy don't know anything, and this guy says other, that guy says other. But yeah, believe me, there should be a document which will have all these requirements listed somewhere, and there should be have a document. There could be have another document where you should have that RTM. But if you know the philosophy, if you know the requirement, if you know the evolution of the processes, and if you feel it's a right part and parcel of the whole thing, then you can refer it within your thought process. Okay, this is what SRS we talk about or read about. Then okay, you understand the length and breadth of the document, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Thank you.
So if such video comes, please ignore that because it'll confuse you unnecessarily. And yes, try to explain within also interview. If the interviewer says, no, we don't have SRS, then you can say, okay, then which auditory frag do you refer for requirement gathering? Because SRS is a requirement gathering document, right? Because as in BA, I have gathered the requirement there. I have collected and listed down the requirement with all the flora and fauna. Am I right in saying this?
Yes, sir.
So if interviewer, if at all you land up in a such organization, and if an interviewer says, okay, I don't use SRS. Okay, sir, could you please tell me which type of auditory artifact do you use for requirement gathering purpose? Then, oh boss, this guy have, done his homework and this guy can speak, because these are the thought process. The tool is not important. The need to solve problem is important, right? We are solving business problem, and that's what the need is. That's what the actual ground requirement, that's what the actual ground need, which I am trying to address. So you can label it whatever you want. You might say, requirement gathering is a foolish thing. I just talk to client, collect voice record, and start constructing product. Do you think that's really good practice?
No. No.
Because then everybody else is talking. Even believe me, whenever you go and record such thing, there are some noises. You might miss out something, and that's why we need to call again. That's why we need to understand or set up the call again, meet again, and so on and so forth. And this has happened. So if you are saying one document can solve our purpose, that's also not right. So when I say I have created SRS, no, you have to have the supplementary facts also. So you need to have that MOM, you need to have some certain like audio tapes and all those things, because this is why the RTM is important. The traceability is important. If I said so, why you said so, why it's so important, why I should take it into consideration, right? So this is how the overall, how we progress in a really grown, evolved world. And we need to understand that. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. And this is a really great discussion we had today. So believe me, anybody else have any, okay, yes, one more thing. Yes, who want to explain distribution? Rupanjali ma'am, are you there? Could you explain why we have distribution here? I believe she is busy. Anybody? Madhuri ma'am? Could you please, okay. Yeah, could you please explain? Yeah, Rudra, please go ahead.
Okay, so I believe it's who you're distributing it to, which teams, and so you know exactly who's receiving this info, right?
Perfect, great. Nowadays, this is automatically done because distribution has been taken care in the background by the system itself. So the cloud does this thing for you, okay? So distribution now, this table is mostly remove 99% of the scenario. But sometimes if the QMS mentions, so we might have a table like whom with all we distribute these things, okay? And then document property. Who wants to explain document property? This is also one of the most important table here. Swati ma'am? Okay, no ma'am. Pallavi ma'am, do you want to take document properties, please?
Yeah, Ravindra sir. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, sure, please. Could you please explain document properties, please?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm completely correct, but
Please.
document property, as I can see and remember, it's like what's the document title is like this document title is like requirement system requirement for project product services. So whatever is the title, like attendance management system, and author whoever created the document, creation date, and last update, like whenever we are updating, and like what was the last update, we have to fill it there.
Perfect. Great, great. You explain it all, ma'am. Why you say I am not sure I'm right? You're right, ma'am. You need to build this confidence, huh? Because if you
Yes.
say something like this, means I've shared that video also, right? Please never say
Yes.
I don't,
No, no,
I
just
don't know
because
I'm right.
it's a class, that's why I said so, sir.
No, no,
Otherwise, I will not say,
please
yeah.
don't worry. Even in the class, we are the king of the world. Believe me, the way we should talk, the way I talk, right? We should,
Yeah, yeah.
and we should show the confidence, because अगर आपने confidence नहीं दिखाया ना, तो इंटरव्यू आपको बैठ के खा लेगा. इंडिया में तो लोग इसके लिए इंटरव्यू लेते हैं कि उनका ईगो satisfy करना होता है. But normally in
That's true,
US,
sir. Yeah.
that's not the case. So you are in a good hand, believe me, and we are there to help you. Please don't worry. But let's start with whatever you know, and that's what expected. That's why we have interview for, right? Interviewing
Yeah,
is a
yeah, sure.
type of discussion where I try to analyze your knowledge. Simple. And even if you're wrong, no problem. It's a part and parcel of the whole game, right? And that's why I
Yeah.
interview you. If I believe you know everything, I'll hire you right away. है ना? So don't
Yeah,
worry.
correct.
And you're wrong doesn't negate the interview. That's also another thing I want to discuss with you. अगर आपने कुछ गलत बोला, तो ये मत पकड़ के चलो कि इंटरव्यू बोलेगा नहीं यार, ये बंदे ने गलत बोला, तो इसको नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता. If you say कि the way I can recall right now, rather than saying if I am wrong, say if the way I can recall right now, यानी मेरे को अभी जो सोच में आ रहा है, जो मैंने पढ़ा था, वो मैं एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूँ. सो आपका गलत रहा तो भी ठीक है, तो होता है, गलत होता है. We are humans, right? To err is human.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So error is expected. So even if you give all the questions wrong, there are chances you get selected. But don't start like that. Means it's a humble request. Huh? Please don't.
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah.
So because everybody has a personality, I can understand, and there are some personal statement which can leverage it to another level, which even I can't understand. Right? So try to be positive. Try up to what I can recall. This is a normal sentence we speak in the interview. So as last what I read, this was the scenario. So I can explain it the way I think right now. That's a positive way. I can share my thoughts with you. That's the best thing. So I'm just trying to thinking loud here. I'll just explaining my thought process here. So even if you're wrong, you'll say okay. She's thinking at that scenario, so no, it's not a big deal. So she might thinking wrong. उसने चाय ठीक से नहीं पी होंगी सुबह, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह, है ना? So
Okay,
please try to be
okay.
positive.
You're truly an amazing teacher. No joke.
Come again.
So you are truly an amazing teacher, honestly.
I
Yeah,
like this.
that's
I
true.
really
Yeah.
like to give training. I like to be a mentor, guide, and please stop me if I'm ever what you can say disrespect you in any way. Please don't feel like that.
No.
We
You're
are
never,
learning
sir.
together here. I might say you're wrong or something, but that's not out of hatred towards you. I'm really lucky to have such a great participant in my first batch, even in my second batch. I'm really honored in many scenarios, and I've learned quite a good amount of things from Usha ma'am. Usha ma'am is also not here, from each of you. So that's what from bottom of my heart. So please pardon me if I say anything to hurt you. That's not
No,
Same.
definitely not,
Same
sir. We
from
need to learn so many
bottom of my
things.
heart.
So you are definitely teach us what is right, what is wrong,
Thank you, ma'am.
and
Thanks.
we always take it positive. So
Yeah,
don't
please.
worry, sir.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot for that. And yes, we need to interview should be all positive. Means think in that direction. Start that's why I showed those interview links, right? Because we need to prepare ourselves. We need to be as proactive as possible. And even the BPM which I explained due to FRS, because as in BA, that's the kind of next evolutionary step we'll be in. So to know where my work is going is also a need, because believe me, you will feel SRS is my child. That's the way, because we used to feel like that, because we put in our blood and sweat, right? We put in our full efforts in creating such document. We are trying to put all what we have in terms of thinking, thought process, concentration to create these artifacts, to create this document called SRS. Now, whenever I have to check it, I need to approve it, other document based on this. Even if I'm in a reviewer authority, or have the what I can say credibility to vet the next level against this, right? That's how I'll put it. So those kind of scenario normally comes to me. So if you show more caliber, you'll get promoted early, you'll get better pay, and that's how I look at it in terms of interviewing process. So the more you positive, the more you'll get. the more you put in efforts, because these are the right time to put in your efforts in, before interviews. Whatever we learn, try to gather those knowledge, try to review those things, sit back for 5 minutes or 6 minutes at the end of the day, and try to revise them. So what I have learned in terms of my next career goal, how can I align better, okay, and those kind of scenario. So yes, okay. So I think we've completed the RTM in terms of these things. RTM will pop up now and then throughout the training, because RTM is really a kind of RTM is really one of the crucial thing which we normally see day in day out. Even as in BA, even if you go in any role, frankly speaking, and RTM is oh man, I have again opened this document. Pardon me, I don't know. Okay, so I trigger. So RTM is a need, and we should understand RTM and try to explain in a few sentences. Try by yourself, and I'll share this video within next 2 hours or so that whenever you have time, go through this thing. Today we had really great session, believe me, because now we are getting ready for these interviews. We are getting ready even in a batch 2. I believe we should, work for whatever target in mind, right? So I'm now aligning the complete training towards that targeting, because gaining knowledge is one thing, and we'll keep gaining knowledge throughout our life. But we have to get aligned with whatever is my next step. Next step is interview, right? And start the job. And even I'm there to support you on the job. So please don't feel like, we are missing anything. Only thing, let's try to start preparing for the interview, start preparing for the next step. Okay, so whenever you're preparing, try to write down certain things with pen and paper. Believe me, that helps, because even psychology says whatever you write down, your brain grasps around 80% of it. Means 60 to 80 was that percentage there. When you type or whenever you hear or say, you hardly gather around 30 to 45% at the most. So we need to get aligned, we have to get more aligned with whatever we're trying to grasp, because for the next step, it's the need. So for the next few weeks or so, whatever you say in the interview is the most crucial part, and that will get you selected for the job, get you allocated to a particular salary. So the more efficiently I work, the more what you can say, more efforts I put, I'll get some better result, or better results coming in my way in the next few clear steps. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
now next we'll start looking at a tool called Excel. I'll start with a basic understanding. I'll try to basically start with creating table, what is row, what is column, and why Excel, why everybody use Excel, and so on and so forth. And then we'll practice on Excel. We'll start from basic table making. So even if you don't know Excel, please don't worry, we'll do it from a scratch, right? I'm leaving you early. I shouldn't say this, but yeah, pardon me for that. We are closing this class early because I want you to give more time in thinking, more time in watching those videos as well. And please bring all the doubts, whatever you have, like we discussed about SRS, right? There could be some scenario where the trainer might think differently, or he might be coming from some different environment while speaking. So we need to understand him or her in a scenario, what she is speaking. So that's why I say analysts need to understand the background also. So whatever he or she is saying might not be correct in a current scenario, but as a training, took it as a positive bundle and try to get whatever best from the YouTube videos. That's why YouTube is not what you can say normally followed worldwide for learning. Believe me, because there are many videos have such things like SRS not at all needed, or agile don't permit SRS. No, SRS, even if you think philosophically, it's a need, and that's how the industry best practices are created around one document, and that's the generic name given in every IT company, every matured IT company. That's what I've learned, that's what I know from experience, and that's why I'm sharing with you. Okay, anybody have any question for me?
No, sir. Sir, just one thing. Do we have any sessions tomorrow? Saturday or Sunday?
Come again, ma'am. I couldn't hear. Could you please louder?
Yeah. Do we have any sessions on weekend, Saturday or Sunday?
No, ma'am. No, not this weekend. But yeah, Devji is arranging those interviewing session. Sorry, resume preparation sessions, right? And
It's
Devji is
only
putting
Monday.
those. So Devji is personally basically taking efforts in explaining the resume, preparation. These things. So please be there. He's really explaining in great depth. Believe me, he goes really role by role, domain by domain, and he try to address you how to create your own profile. What are the things you should add and something. Because I'm not a really what you can say credible person to guide you on a profile. I can guide you on, in terms of technical answering for the, technology and all. But for profile or, resume building, Devji is really right person. And there is a team basically, we have a team of recruiters who will help you. Like we have Apurva ji, we have, Purva ji, we have the, Lalita ji. There are quite a few, senior people. They'll going to help you out. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
Yes, sir. So is there any session scheduled on the weekend for resume? Or?
No, not really.
Yeah, the timings are there on the group. If you
Yeah,
see
it's on the group.
yeah.
On the weekend? For weekend?
Not on the weekend.
It's just it's for I think 3 days. I don't remember exactly, but maybe Monday and Saturday and one more day.
No, so Thursday and Tuesday. And
Oh, Tuesday,
Does
Thursday,
it
and
even have
Saturday.
weekend sessions? Okay.
Sorry?
Okay. I thought it's not on the weekend. It was just on
it's not on the weekend.
No,
yeah, Tuesday, Thursday.
it is for Saturday. No, it is for Saturday also.
Oh, okay.
As much I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I think tomorrow you'll have some resume preparation session, if I'm not wrong. I'm not very sure about it.
And that you were telling about the data science session?
Yes. You are all welcome. It's at, I think, 8:30 EST. 8:30 a.m. EST tomorrow.
8:30 a.m. morning?
Yes, ma'am, morning.
Okay, 8:30 a.m. EST.
Yes. So, you'll have the link otherwise if you miss this thing. But if you're there, please feel free to ask questions, and let's try to, learn it from how can we use these good words within our interview also. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sure. Then I'll stop here right now.
Okay.
Then let's try to brush up for, try to start working on your profiles, resumes, and take it to a new level. My best luck and best wishes with you. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. And, I'm there for you.
Sir,
Okay.
can you please
Sure,
share
thank you,
this,
sir.
this
Thank you.
presentation?
Come again, please, ma'am.
Can you share this presentation?
Yes,
PPT?
ma'am. Yeah, yes. I'll share that. Give me 20-30 minutes. I'll share this presentation with you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank
Good
you, sir.
night. Take
Good
care.
night.
Bye.
Bye,
Good
sir.
night.